So that is this ground. This ground is our Father's home. That's what it is. And Father has let all of these demons into his home. He has let in these thieves into his home. He has let in these murderers into his home and these rapists into his home, which is our earth, to reveal their identity. And that is our space. That is our tantric space. We allow that revelation. And we are like the Sarma. We give revelation of the demons. We give revelation of the true nature and the true identity. And that's where the demons spend a lot of time hiding. So they hide a lot, and they live in cipher in between twilight space. They live in your dream space through manipulation, through psychological manipulation, through telepathic manipulation. They think in your own voice. They don't think in their voice. When they come into your head, they will think in your voice. So they imposture you. They take and mimic your form. So that's why they hide their identity. If they're so powerful, why would they have to hide themselves? They are not. But they have power over you. Unless you don't know they exist, they have power over you. But once you find out, they have no power over you. In that context, we are providing that space. We are providing a home, a body, a mind, and we are revealing the true nature and the true identity of these beings and what they are about, and how jealous they are, and how envious they are, and how petty they are, and how angry and desperate they are, how much they beg for luge, how much they want to hurt, just to hurt. Innocent people that are just practicing spirituality, how they want to come into my home and turn me into a refugee when I'm only 4 years old. I'm barely walking, and they've already attacked me. So that reveals the true identity of the demons and Satans that are like 10,000 years old, that is hurting a newborn child. And that's the cowardice identity and the cowardice way of the demons. And they don't want to be revealed, and they don't want to be known. As children, when we get sick, when they hurt you, they are actually demons attacking you. So I had this dent in the middle of my forehead, and when I was born, so like 6 months, 8 months, years old, and there was a woman that was helping my mother when I was born. So she had a friend or a relative that was helping my mom look after me. And somehow accidentally, with a torchlight, she accidentally like swung it in a way that it hit me when I was like 6 months old or something. And I have that dent in my head here. So I have that dent right in the middle here. Like there's a dent. But with a torchlight. So you have to understand the symbolism of that. So Satan, Lucifer, calls himself the angel of light. He calls himself the light bringer. But he's not the light bringer, but Satan in the popular satanic mainstream world is known as the light bringer. You can just do a simple Google search and you'll see Lucifer, light bringer. So that's what he is known as. So when you are a child and someone with a torchlight accidentally hits you on your head and leaves a dent right in the middle, that is actually Satan, because it represents the light. The torchlight is the light. So for me, that's like Satan. So that's what they do. So they attack children, newborn children. They don't care. They don't have any feelings. They are of the dead. We are of the living. So they are completely different. So they will hurt and attack us. So they were already attacking me. They were already onto me. They were already hurting me because of like, I was meant to do the Sunyata, the Vajrayana, and Rapture. So they were already like spiritually attacking me. So that's what I mean by like, you could be just a pure, newly born child and they're already attacking you. But the whole Tantrayana path is what you have to understand. It's about revealing the true identity and the true nature of the demons. So all your like life struggles and everything is like you being an exorcist, you being a tantric person yourself, and you being a Vajrayana, a tantric monk yourself. And that's like because we come from the living, we come from the mother and the father, and the mother and father embody the tantric nature. They embody the dharma. Dharma is like the Vajrayana system of dharma is when you reveal treasures, when you reveal information. It's the Vajrayana. So you can look at your own self as a dharma, because if you are born as a Vishwakarma, you're actually revealing the identity of a Baun. So that's your spiritual contribution. So your discrimination, it's not just discrimination. It's not going to waste. Your work is not going to waste. If someone is discriminating you, you are spiritually working. You're revealing your dharma. You're revealing the dharma. You're revealing the true nature of a demonic infected person. So someone's like, whoa, look at you, and they discriminate you. That's a demon. You just reveal their identity. That's your ability. So that's what the entire earth space is, the entire earth ground is, that Yabiyam revelation space of good and evil. The good and evil flower here equally. And the good get harvested to heaven, which is the rapture. And the bad gets cut off and thrown into the lake of fire with the unquenchable fire. That's what it's called in the Hebrew scriptures, that Christ will throw all the unnecessary chaff into the lake of fire, in the unquenchable fire. Whereas he will take all the grains and all the good seeds and he'll put it in his storehouse, which is heaven. He'll put it in heaven. We'll go through all the different spiritual systems, and finally we'll come back into this earth and rebuild this earth and establish the Yeshua, Son of God's Christ age, which is 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years, the 7,000 years completes. And then there is another cleansing, another judgment there as well, until we get to the eternal age. There's also a lot of underhand profit organizations that want to profit out of the caste system, and they're providing like fake help. They'll help you for real. They'll give you like stuff that you need, but in fact, they're making more money off you. So every individual human being is a lot of money. So they can raise a lot of funds in the name of caste and stuff. So not all the NGOs and organizations, I think 99% of them are dodgy. They are Satanist based, because they create a problem. They'll create the caste system and they'll come in and try to make profit of that. They'll be like, oh, we'll start an organization, we'll start a school, or we'll start a teaching institute, and they will start making money off that and pretend to fake help you. But then all of these billions of dollars spent on the caste system, and up to now there's no change, because they want the caste system to perpetuate so they can continuously profit from this. So they don't want any problems to go away. So they don't want any problems to end. Because they want to profit of all the problems like human diseases, rape, murder, caste system, feminist problems, gender problems, transgenderism, all of that. The ruling elite, they don't want any of those problems to end. They actually want it to become bigger, and they want to profit from that continuously. So sometimes when you take to the streets and like, or you fight for your rights, that gives the Satanist more ammo, that gives the Satanist more leverage to actually start new organizations and do all that. So when you're playing within the immediate societal, political, cultural environment, when you're playing in the superficial, on the shallow layer, in the linear victimizer layer, when you're playing within that field, there is no solution, because you have to look at the spiritual as well. So you can't just look at the carnal, the linear, shallow, carnal space, but you have to go deeper and understand the spiritual layer. It's a completely different landscape. It's a completely different universe altogether. So when we open to that, when we open from the carnal to the spiritual layer, there is freedom there. Because if you're going to fight for caste discrimination in the carnal level, it doesn't exist, because the Satanists, the demons, they want to continuously profit from that. As soon as the caste system ends, they can end the caste system tomorrow. But if the caste system ends, they cannot continuously profit. They cannot continuously victimize, because the demons are based on victimizing. Pure caste spirits are based on victimizing others, oppressing, suppressing. Anything to hate, put something down. They love that. That is their mode of loosh. They continuously want that caste discrimination loosh. They want that dynamic. They also want a lower caste rising and fighting against someone. They also want that. So they want all angles. They want to discriminate, and they're like, oh, that's nice. And then when someone fires up against them, they like that as well. They're like, oh, that's nice. Now she's discriminating him. So they like all the angles. So they like that conflict, that back and forth. So for them, it's like wherever they can get that loosh from, that negative loosh from, the ignorant loosh from. So in the carnal world, solving any problem in the carnal world is a fantasy, is an illusion. You cannot make a movie and dance in a few songs and make a music video or make a documentary and solve a problem. It doesn't exist. It doesn't work that way. So you have to look at it through a spiritual lens, because everything is spiritual. So when you address it through the spiritual, you go deeper, you go to the next layer, and you look at it through the spiritual lens. That's where the meat is. But if you're in the carnal, in the shallow space, a victimizer, and in that constant battle, there is no solution there. So you have to go deeper. You have to go into the spiritual layer, and the landscape is totally different there. And that's when you see your true identity, and your true identity reveals itself there. And you will realize that on the spiritual end, you are in a higher position. So the Vishwakarmas on the spiritual end are in a tantric space. They are in a higher position. They're revealing the identity of the demons. They're actually performing cho in the charnel ground. That's what the Vishwakarma is doing. But if you look at it to the carnal, you'll be like, oh wow, they're being so discriminated. And you're like fighting for your rights. But in the spiritual world, it's the opposite. It's flipped. It's like you are a Dakini in the charnel ground, performing your cho and revealing the identity, inviting the demons in your space. That's how it works. So within the spiritual context, if you go in your spiritual, if you activate or open or reveal that spiritual space, the spiritual ground of mother and father, the yab-yam, once you do the method and wisdom properly, you will realize that you are in a higher position. And everything is flipped in this world. Everything is upside down. So in the carnal world, high is low, low is high. So the actual high people are put low, and the low, useless, dumb people are on the top. And the state of the world is a testimony of that the stupid, ignorant people are ruling the world. The bounds are ruling the world. The reptilian animals are ruling the world. They're literal animals. They're ruling the world. And the humans are oppressed and put down. The Pragya Paramita, Vishwakarma lineage is put down. Everything is put down because the carnal world wants to rule and reign. So if you are in the carnal world, then you will always be oppressed, because you're not of the carnal, you're spiritual. So once you activate your spiritual or open or reveal your spiritual space, and the spiritual ground is open to you, then you will realize that you are in a higher position within the spiritual space. You are in the higher position. Like for example, when you see Lord Buddha as a monk begging for food, on the surface you will see like, oh wow, Lord Buddha is like a beggar. But in the spiritual, he is like the Buddha of the universe. So if you look at it on the flip side, if you look at it through the spiritual angle, he's a Buddha of the universe. He's a teacher of the universe. He is the one that can make every human being realize sunyata. He can free this world from completely destructing and collapsing, if you look at it through the spiritual angle. But if you look at it through the carnal world, you'll be like, oh wow, that man's a beggar. Even Yeshua, son of God, was the same. Like in his worldly life, he was a very humble, simple person, and he didn't have money. He was a simple monk, and but spiritually, he actually like paid for the sins, basically balance the spiritual account for dark and light. He atoned for the sins of everyone. So spiritually, he paid for everyone. But in real time, he said, I don't even have a place to sleep, the Son of God. was saying that. So in the carnal world, they are nothing, but in the spiritual, they're balancing the camp for the whole universe. So that's how you have to look at yourself. So when you are in the carnal, you're always a victim, because the ruler of the carnal world is the demons. So the demons will always victimize you. But are if you awaken to your spiritual identity, and if you awaken to your spiritual self, then you are not a victim. Then you are in a higher position than the demons, because you have activated your spiritual self, and you have gained your spiritual identity, and you know yourself as a spiritual being. And then you have opened different spiritual layers within your spiritual identity. So you're no longer just a functioning carnal being, but you're actually a spiritual being. So when you understand that you're a spiritual being, you are actually in a higher position. The Vishwakarma is in the higher position. The oppressed and the discriminated is in the higher position, because we are letting you, we are opening our home, we are opening our field to reveal the identity of the demon. And that's what the demons spend a lot of time hiding as well. They try to hide that from you and make you feel like you are a useless victim. But that's not the case, because there is a carnal world and there is a spiritual world simultaneously playing out. But if you remain in the carnal, your fight will be continuous. But as soon as you understand the spiritual, the caste system and all that, it's all like mumbo jumbo stuff. It's pie in the sky, airy fairy, like weird stuff. But at the same time, it's happening and people are being affected in the carnal world. They believe the caste is a real thing, so they believe in that delusion and it becomes real for them, and they get angered, they get triggered, they get frustrated, so it becomes real for them. But for us, we are just like, we know, so it doesn't really affect us, because we're like, I myself personally, I haven't experienced like discrimination and stuff. So I actually have to go in and I have to learn. The demons were really onto me. They were really attached to me, and they like made themselves at home with me. So I think my life was a little bit not super carnal. So they did not put me in those situations, in those discrimination type situations. They did not directly put me in those situations. I have not experienced like untouchability on my part. Like no one said, oh, I'm not going to eat the food that you touch or drink the water you touch. Like I have never experienced that, because I think the demons didn't put me through those situations, because the demons put you through those situations. The demon will actually be like, okay, let's make her meet this bound, and that bound will discriminate against her. So they will actually make you meet with these people and put you in those scenarios. They'll engineer situations and scenarios to make you feel discrimination, so you're traumatized by that specific event. So they will actually orchestrate and engineer a event where you're discriminated, and they'll make it natural. So they can create those situations, they can fabricate those situations to engineer your trauma. So they can do that. So they can make you feel like, oh wow, I was class discriminated. But it's not that. Even that person and you will actually like both put in that situation to have that experience. They didn't do that to me. They didn't put me through those experiences, because I think they were doing bigger things to me, and they had bigger plans for me. So I didn't experience any of that, because it's all about what the demons have in mind for you, what they plan for you, whether they want to put you through that untouchability scenario, or they want to make you into a refugee. So they in fact made me into a refugee. So like they put me in the lowest state, making me into a refugee. So that's what they did. So they were like attacking me in a different way. They were putting me in a very low state in a different way. So not through caste, but through becoming a refugee. So they have different programs for different people. And this is the deeper interconnected back end spiritual architecture kind of system that I'm giving testimony for. Because when you just look at the carnal world, everyone's like, oh, that's about discriminating against that Vishwakarma, it's just linear and obvious. But if you look, you have to understand the back end spiritual architecture. You have to understand the back end demonic system that is funneling into the human world and creating all these problems for us.